That's out here. Being a meteorologist, I can tell you this is probably Category 3, Category 4 damage easy. It's easily as bad as what I saw in Illinois just a couple of days ago. But what's amazing about this outbreak is it's covered so many states in the month of March. And it probably will go down as one of the strongest outbreaks ever. We could easily have, by time it's all said and done, a month's worth of tornadoes, which is 87 on average, in just one day. An amazing storm.
By 3:40 p.m., reports of extreme devastation in parts of Indiana. After being pummeled by hail, tornadoes battered large areas of the state. Several towns, as one official put it, are completely gone.
Indiana's governor described the damage as incomprehensible.
All the things that mere mortals can do aren't enough sometimes.
Oh my God.
Across America's midsection, more than 100 tornadoes on Friday from the Gulf states to the Great Lakes. As a third of the country spent the day trying to recover from a day of devastation and heartbreak.
My friend, you've been with KFES for a long time. Describe this storm as all the storms you've reported on over these years. This is really something.
Well, like I said, Lauren, I mean, this looks exactly like the scene from Galesburg, Kansas, from Joplin, Missouri, from, Alabama, where you've got just nothing left but foundations of buildings and then just piles and piles of debris.
It is reminiscent of Joplin. I hate to say it.
They are powerful. The tornado that ripped through Branson, Missouri was on the ground for 22 miles. The twister that flattened nearly 300 homes in Harrisburg, Illinois, authorities now believe it was an EF4 tornado, nearly 200 yards wide, with winds near 170 miles an hour.
The path of destruction is historic in its width, with storms reported as far south as Georgia and as far north as Illinois.
The frantic search for survivors with states of emergency in effect in a large swath of America this morning after a swarm of tornadoes, nearly 100 of them. Once thriving neighborhoods, now debris fields. Lives literally uprooted in seconds.
Big semi-trucks on top of what was the gas station. This tornado went 52 miles from Holland, Indiana, all the way into Ohio. New video of that massive twister as it careened toward this small town. We now know it was a powerful EF4, packing winds of 175 miles per hour. Yellow school buses tossed everywhere. Yellow school buses tossed everywhere. Yellow school buses tossed everywhere. This monster system took aim at Indiana. So why did this happen? It is not rare to see tornadoes this time of year, but to see an outbreak of this magnitude certainly is, and it is not over.
A string of violent, severe storms and tornadoes killed dozens of people in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana on Friday.
I gotta go find my mom.
You're looking for your mom?
My mom, my sister, my brother, my nephew, my dad.
The early season tornado outbreak followed a line Friday from the Gulf Coast to the Ohio Valley.
What we know is we've got complete destruction. We've got complete destruction. We've got complete destruction.
What you are seeing here is a map put out by the National Weather Service, which shows where the 90 tornadoes hit Friday and Saturday. 38 people now dead in 5 states by the latest count. An unbelievable 27.5 million people were put at risk by this storm. These storms in Kentucky, the worst in 24 years, and in Indiana, the town of Henryville was hit by a twister packing 175-mile-an-hour winds, and it stayed on the ground for more than 50 miles. Indiana Governor Mitch Daniels was in Henryville and in other parts of his hard-hit state yesterday. He is with us this morning from Indianapolis. Governor, thank you for finding time to talk to us this morning.
The count of those who have lost homes and businesses is smaller than it might have been, just based on where these incredibly powerful storms hit, but it doesn't ease the heartache. If there was any mercy in this incredibly brutal set of storms, it is that it didn't hit more populous areas. But again, in the frame of reference of towns, the kind of towns that got damaged in our state means everything. And so, once again, you can't really measure the sense of loss.
I noticed some of these towns, like Henryville, just wiped out. I mean, they weren't just hit hard; they were wiped out. Have you ever seen anything quite like this?
I've had way more practice than I wish I had in severe weather and severe storms over these last 7+ years. But just from an educated amateur standpoint, I've never seen one quite this destructive. The continuity of the storm as you followed its path, this one didn't, as far as I could tell, pick up and come down very often. It just moved like a lawnmower through some of the most beautiful countryside and some of the most beautiful towns that we have. So I'll leave to the experts what number to put on it. I'll just tell you that I haven't seen worse.
Are you prepared? What are you going to do to be ready for the next round? Because there may well be one.
If you needed another way to keep your human pride under control, these storms provided it.
That same official tells me in his 25 years of work, he has seen nothing like this. This is the worst damage he's ever seen, and he compared it to a war zone.
And we are just now learning just how bad western Kentucky was hit. The death toll there has risen to 20, and a state of emergency is in effect. The National Guard's been called in as well, as Kentucky's governor says the hardest hit areas look like a bomb went off.
Survivors all describing it the same way.
War zone.
War zone.
Yeah.
It looked like we were bombed.
Yeah, it looks like a war zone. Looks like somebody's come through and just flattened.
Last night, while we were on the air covering Super Tuesday, there was a storm on the surface of the sun. And that energy, those waves, are traveling toward us at over 4 million miles an hour right now, which means it could arrive as early as between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. Eastern Time tonight. It could affect a lot of things. Past storms like this have knocked out power grids here on Earth, attacked communications and GPS, and already some commercial airlines have rerouted flights to avoid interference from it. Tom, good evening.
Hi, Brian. I've been on the phone with the folks at NOAA in Boulder, Colorado, and in simple terms, the atmosphere around the sun has been blown away, leaving charged particles in a magnetic field which are now speeding towards the Earth, as you said, 4 million miles an hour.
Planet Earth is wrapped in a kind of cosmic electric blanket, surrounded by solar flares 10 times more powerful than anything we've seen in years. The flares bombard the Earth's magnetic field. In fact, some airplanes had to make detours in order to steer clear. And the nation's top scientists are monitoring the power grids. ABC's Sam Champion has been tracking this all day and tells us what those scientists are seeing so far.
These are the eruptions on the surface of the sun. Solar flares more than 500,000 miles high and 10 million times more powerful than a volcanic eruption that sent today's solar storm barreling down to Earth, setting off a white-knuckle watch for trouble. Inside the nation's Mission Control for Space Weather, all eyes were tracking the storm around the clock, looking for impact and watching closely for any new flare-ups on the very active surface of the sun.
And this region really hasn't shown any signs of decay or diminishing, so the threat is still there.